Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Marcus from InfoSec Governance, and today's video is going to be just a little demo and a little chat about using Attendableness Professional and going against a credentialed scan and a non-credentialed scan. Seeing what the differences are, why you should use a credentialed scan and what the tips are and things like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, we've got Attendableness Pro up and running. This is just in my demo environment. So what we're going to do is just click on new scan, and for this one we're just going to click advanced scan because I quite like doing an advanced scan and just setting all the options myself. Obviously if you're going to be doing a credential scan, you could just click on the credential scan or the patch scan from the main section. So in here we're just going to say non-credentialed, if I could spell, non-credentialed scan. And this will be the first scan that we'll do, and then we'll just compare between the first and the second one. So I'm just going to scan my whole range just so we get a whole set of things. So this is just scanning my whole test lab range. So we'll go down to discovery. I'll untick that one here just so I don't get all my test environment and stuff like that. Testing the local Nessus host, that just means where Nessus is running on your computer, just don't test it as it says. I'm just unchecking that for mine just because I've got a load of test stuff on that will just flag it all up and it'll cause mayhem. So on port scanning, I like to scan the whole TCP range. So you can either type in just all here, or you can just go 1 minus 65535 and just scan the whole TCP range. Another thing I like to do is just check the UDP option here and check UDP. Obviously if you scan UDP it's going to be a lot slower for your scanning, so if you've got a really big environment you might not want to check that UDP option. And we'll just go down to assessment, have a look through here. You can enable any options that you want. Obviously you can have a look in Windows, get a bit more information about your Windows domain if you've got it or anything like that. Click on report. What I like to do here is under the report option here is just uncheck show missing patches that have been superseded. This just reduces the amount of information that you get from your report, and it just looks a little bit nicer. So it's not actually going to list all those patches that have actually been superseded. So you're only going to get the information that you actually need. And that's it. So I'm just going to click save. And then I'll click launch. So I'll run that. And then what we're going to do is do exactly the same thing again, but using credentials. So while that's running, I'll just create a new scan. So go to advanced scan. As I say, you could actually click on this option here, credentialed patch order, if you wanted to, but I'll just go to advanced scan. And here we're going to say credentialed scan. And we'll just scan the whole range again. /24. I'll uncheck that again. And I'll scan all the ports again. And enable UDP. Go to report, uncheck that. But the next thing we're going to do is actually click on credentials here. I'm going to go down to Windows, and then I'm actually going to put in a for this purpose I'm just going to put in the global administrator password that we have in my lab. Obviously if you're doing this on a day-to-day basis within your environment, you might have a dedicated account that has full access to all your machines. It might be a dedicated scanning account that has been set up and it's just applied to a specific group or anything like that. I wouldn't exactly recommend using a global admin or domain admin account for doing scans like that, because if you're doing it, it's going to be noisy, it's going to fill your logs up, and if you've got issues and you've got an incident that you need to troubleshoot and you've got your domain admin account populating all these logs, you're not going to know what's what. So I'd definitely separate it out. So do that there, and then just test lab, and then just start a remote registry and enable administrative shares. These are just the two options that you need. So for Nessus, when it scans, it'll connect using local admin, and that'll just start up the remote registry and the administrative shares just to get all the information that it can possibly get. And then I'll click save. And then what I won't do is I won't run this at the same time as the non-credentialed one. I'll wait till that one's finished and then run the credentialed scan. Once that's done, we'll come back and we'll compare and see which one's which. Okay. Right, okay, so the scans have been going for a while. I've started off a non-credential scan as we saw, and then I also started off a credential scan. as this is a lab environment, obviously things go wrong. So this has been running for quite a few hours now, and the non-credential scan hasn't completed. It's got stuck on 2 machines for some reason. So as you can see, there's just a lot of informational stuff here, a couple of little medium ones here and one low one. But if we actually look on the credentialed scan, you can actually see that it's brought a lot more information back. Although the credential scan hasn't actually scanned all the hosts that the non-credentialed scan has done, you can see that it's a lot more in-depth. It's brought a lot more information back, especially for this host here, 128.37. So if you click on this one here, and then you can actually just see it's got a couple of network .NET framework issues. It's got Flash Player installed, which is obviously discontinued as of the end of 2020, and a lot of other stuff. So it just goes down and does a lot more. So if we drill in, and you can just see there's a lot of updates waiting to be applied, like that. So you can see that even though if you did a normal vulnerability scan across your environment, it doesn't always pick all the information up that you need. Ideally, if you can, perform a credentialed scan, so logging in into each machine using a local administrative account or or root user, or if you're using Mac or Linux or Unix or anything like that, log in using SSH credentials, and then you can actually just go in, interrogate the machine, bring back loads of information, and it just gives you a better picture of where your environment is. So what we can say is pretty much, if you can, run a vulnerability scan across your machine, and yeah, go from there. So Nessus Professional is quite expensive, but if you can afford it, if you've got an environment big enough, I would recommend getting it. I would say it's one of the easiest ones to use. There are other free vendors out there like OpenVAS and Nessus Essentials. Obviously they've got limitations there, but have a look around, have a look at the vulnerability scanners that are out there. I'll stick some in the links below the video to have a look at, and go from there. So I hope you like this video. It's just a short one, this one just to do the comparison between credentialed and non-credentialed and go from there. Thanks, bye.